Hey everybody, it's Rico, and in this video I'm going to talk about the living costs in beautiful Cyprus. I'm gonna talk about the rent and property prices, food and restaurant prices, as well as transport, outdoor and indoor activities, and other business and private related expenses. Also, it's very important to mention that in the end I'm going to give you my top 7 tips if you're planning to move to Cyprus. So definitely watch this video until the end. I grew up in Germany and I'm living in Cyprus for almost 2 years now. My first year I spent in Limassol, but now I live here in Paphos. I have my own company limited here and I work in a co-working space as well as in my home office. First, I'm giving you a quick overview of my own fixed expenses here in Cyprus, so you know roughly about how much it costs me to live here. The first very obvious expense is food, and I spend around 200 euros every month on food. I spend another 50 euros for fuel and other car expenses, and 100 euros every month for fun stuff, such as activities, going out, playing golf, or just having a coffee. Last but not least, I also pay rent. And I'm going to add a video now from my apartment so you can guess what the price of my monthly rent is. We have a beautiful entry with our own palm trees. We have a detached parking spot for the car, as well as a nice living room with a nice beach view, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a balcony and an awesome communal pool, a very big one actually. But this communal pool is mostly used by us because our neighbors never use it. Alright, did you guess it? The monthly rent for the apartment you just saw is only 470 euros. And the crazy thing is, the internet bills as well as the water bills, they are already included into the price. So I'm only paying 470 euros additional the electricity bills. And the rest of my income goes to investments, mainly my own business, but also other assets. So we have a total of 840 euros that I have to pay every month in order to live here in Cyprus. But this is of course very individual. So I'm going to talk about each category in very detail now. So stay tuned. Renting or buying houses and apartments depends very much on which city you live in here in Cyprus. For example, Limassol is by far the most expensive city. Larnaca, which is very near to the main airport here in Cyprus, is cheaper than Limassol, but more expensive than Paphos, where I'm at right now. Paphos is actually very cheap and also very beautiful, and those are reasons why I moved here from Limassol. Then we also have Nicosia, which is also very cheap, but I was never really interested in Nicosia since it's not at the south coast, which is the main area where all the tourists go here in Cyprus. I also don't see real benefits in Nicosia, only the colleges, schools and also the IKEA shop. If you want to rent a house or an apartment, there are awesome deals on a website called bazaraki.com. This is actually like the biggest dealership here in Cyprus and is similar to eBay but only for Cyprus. Also, the Facebook marketplace is very popular here in Cyprus and you will find good deals there as well. If you want to buy a house or an apartment, I always say, unfortunately, you won't find the best deals online. It's very important to be well connected here in Cyprus, so you will always hear about awesome off-market deals, especially if you're interested in big investment properties. Lastly, I also want to talk about the electricity prices here in Cyprus. It's very important to know that there's only one electricity provider, so he basically can decide what prices he wants to charge, but it's very okay. I pay around 70 euros for electricity every 2 months, which is very normal here in Cyprus. We always pay every 2 months the electricity bills and every 3 months the water bills. Now we are coming to one of my most favorite topics, and that is food, restaurants, eating and drinking outside. Here I realized very early on that the prices are very similar to Germany. In a very good restaurant at the sea in Limassol, you easily pay around 30 euros per person, but you of course also get a very nice sea view, ambiente and a good service, and of course a good meal. Some good examples of price-worthy restaurants here in Cyprus that I visited myself are Pier 1, Do Wine and Dine, Columbia Beach, Edam's Yard, Omicron, Meraki Cafe here in Paphos, and many more. Also, you can go to the Wagamamas, which is a franchise, or hotels and other franchise restaurants here in Cyprus. There are a lot. But if you're someone that doesn't like to go to fancy restaurants, you of course can also get a very cheap meal. A kebab, for example, for less than 5 euros if you're on a run or something. I myself, I love sitting in a restaurant and having a great ambiente, a good service and good food. As far as drinking, you have a lot of opportunities here in Cyprus as well. You get great local wine from Cyprus, but also imported wine from Italy, Germany, Austria and more. Even in the cafes you will find alcohol here, so people very much like alcohol here. And also for coffee lovers, this island is perfect. There are so many great, beautiful cafes all around Cyprus, especially in Paphos, so definitely check out the cafes here. Next topic is food and groceries, and it's important to know that it is much cheaper to cook at home here, not as in Bali where I went out for food like 3 times a day. So definitely cook at home as many times as possible. This is actually what I'm doing as well. I'm just going out if I like to meet people or have a nice date or other things like that. The supermarket prices, they can actually vary a lot, so definitely make sure to go to the right supermarkets, especially if you're planning to live here and you're going out for grocery shopping like every week. My go-to places are the Lidl, Alpha Mega and Papantonio. Everywhere in all of those shops you will find a big variety of vegan options if you're a vegan, and also we have 24/7 kiosks all around Cyprus here, but only use them if you want a snack in the nighttime because they are much more expensive than the supermarkets. Regarding drinking water, the cheapest way is to go with local water from the mountains. I actually like the taste a lot. If you're planning to live here, I recommend you buying those big 20 liters containers of water, and you can just fill them up for 50 cents every time, and then you have another 20 liters of water. You can put them on a machine and then you just press a button and there comes your water. This is actually very common here in Cyprus and I do this as well. Next very important topic is cars and transport. This can actually be very tricky, especially if you're planning to buy a car here in Cyprus. I myself decided to buy a car here in Cyprus because I knew I will spend a lot of months every year here in Cyprus, so it makes more sense to buy one. I bought a Toyota Camry for 2,000 euros, and even though the car dealer seemed very nice and very professional in the beginning, it turned out that the car has a very big engine problem, so I had to spend another 1,000 euros in order to fix it. So if you're planning to buy a car as well, definitely make sure to check it very well. Of course, renting a car is a decent option as well, especially if you're planning to travel a lot, and you can get great deals for around 200 to 300 euros with great cars. But be aware of hidden fees here, of course. Gas and petrol, so fuel for the car, is much cheaper than in Germany. This is what I found, and also it's currently around 1 euros and 8 cents, so it's very cheap for benzene 95. So before I'm giving you my top 7 tips if you're planning to move here to Cyprus, I quickly want to talk about outdoor and indoor activities as well and how much the costs for those are as well. First, I have to mention that there are a ton of free opportunities and activities you can do in Cyprus. Mainly nature visits to waterfalls, blue lagoons, mountains, and also sightseeing at the harbor, abandoned shipwrecks and other old cities, for example. If you want to spend some money on activities, you can, for example, rent a jet ski for 20 minutes and you spend around 50 euros. This is the price that I paid in Ayia Napa. There are many other water sports activities as well you can do, such as boat and ship cruising, paddle surfing and underwater diving as well. More examples for indoor and outdoor activities are golfing at the driving range, which is around 8 euros, escape room visits, which is around 30 euros, getting a 1-hour massage, which is also around 30 euros, and then renting an e-bike, which is around 10 euros, and shopping malls with bowling, where you pay around 10 euros for a bowling play. And also a topic a lot of people are interested in is clubbing and partying, and we have a lot of great clubs here, especially in Limassol and in Ayia Napa. The prices there are very good, so definitely check it out and have fun there. Finally, we are coming to the top 7 tips if you're planning to move here or if you're planning to come here for holidays, which will save you a lot of money. So definitely keep listening. Number 1, only buy a car if you're really planning to live here or if you're here for a longer period of time. The streets and the infrastructure here is not very perfect for cars, so you definitely have to do a lot of services on your car, and renting cars here are very cheap, so definitely make sure to have a nice decision of whether buying or renting a car. Tip number 2 is look at as many properties as possible. I actually looked at over 30 before I decided for one property. This way you will find the best deal and the right property for your own needs. Tip number 3 is only move to Limassol if you have a strong reason to, or if you don't care about money at all. Because in Larnaca and Paphos you basically get the same. And if you want to have a big city life, you can go there on the weekends. So definitely make sure to decide on which city you're living in. Tip number 4 is for everyone that is living in a hot and warm climate country, such as Cyprus or Bali or other Asian countries, because you have to get used to the heat. Don't use your AC 24/7. This was a big mistake when I used to live in Bali because it's very hot there, but if you're trying to get used to it, eventually you will, and you will not spend thousands of euros on your electricity bill. Tip number 5 is very important for Cyprus, and that is to negotiate at almost everything. Of course you can't negotiate on Apple products or something like that, but especially on the Facebook marketplace or on Bazaraki, it's just a private seller that wants to get rid of a product, and you can ask him for a better price and you eventually will get it. So definitely make sure to negotiate here. Tip number 6, only go out for dinner if you really have a strong reason to as well. Cook at home as many times as possible, and also go to the mentioned supermarkets that I said earlier, or choose your own ones of course, but definitely make sure to save some money not going out and cooking at home. The last and final tip is to have a proper money management plan in place. This is actually for everyone and not just for people living in Cyprus. It is so important to have more money coming in every month than you spend out. So definitely make sure to have a proper money management plan in place, and at best be able to invest some money every month. This is very important. And if you want to learn more about money management, marketing maybe even, and Cyprus in general, subscribe to this channel. My channel is all about Cyprus, marketing, money management, personal development, and I'm going to talk about more about those topics here on this channel. So make sure to subscribe, like this channel, and also leave a comment if you learned something. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer your questions, and I see you in the next video.